probably just have more questions than what I had at the start of the episode. Welcome to my review / thoughts on video about Doctor Who Series 12 Episode 9 Ascension of the Cybermen. Oh boy, there's quite a lot crammed into this one. So Ascension of the Cybermen, part 1 of the 2-part series finale for the Series 12. A lot of things I thought would be in this episode that weren't, and a lot of things I never expected that were in the episode. And a bit of a mixture in between, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. Okay, right off the bat, right at the beginning we have this really cool transition into the title sequence where we have the scene with the dead Cyberman head floating in space with the voiceover, and then it sort of zooms into the Cyberman's eye and we transition to the titles. That was pretty cool. That's nice. A bit more interesting than your bog standard cut, I suppose. The lone Cyberman is back. I can't remember what his... I think he has like a proper name, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know, I'll look at it later. So yeah, he's back with a couple of personal guards by the looks of it. Basically just a couple of really run-down Cybermen. Same model as the ones that were in Closing Time. Yeah, they're like the Cybers Industries Cybermen, but without the C logo on their chest, so... yeah, same model as the Cybers ones, but it's the ones from our universe. They just use the same casing design and took away the logo because off-brand Cybermen. So yeah, that was cool. Those flying Cyberman heads were a bit weird, cyber drones. I mean, it's a new idea. Give it credit for that. It was a little bit weird, but still, I liked it. Let's talk about the new Cybermen really quickly before I get onto anything else. The Cyber Warriors, the new ones, the ones that are like sort of a cross between the Nightmare and Silver torso with the Invasion head sort of thing. I don't know. The head was kind of a mixture between the Invasion Cybermen, the Revenge of the Cybermen, and the 80s sort of Cybermen design, I thought. It was kind of a mixture between all three of them. And they have spikes on their arms and legs for some reason, so yeah. But yeah, that was really cool. Nice design for the Cybermen. Probably not my favourite design of all time. I don't really know what my favourite design would be, to be honest. Probably one of the 60s designs, I'd say, really. But yeah, they were a nice design. Nice to see them show up. And yeah, as far as Cyberman's story goes, you know, sort of taking away any of the sort of content to do with like the story arc and whatnot, at its basic, this is a pretty good Cyberman story. The Cyber Wars have been mentioned on a lot of occasions, but we've never, I mean, on screen at least, I don't think we've ever really delved into the whole Cyber Wars events thing that sort of went on in the future. So it's nice to see them delving into the aftermath of one of them. It's kind of the last humans versus what we thought were the last Cybermen, but no, there's a whole bloody army of the damn things on this ship now. That was cool. Interesting to see where they're going to go. Although I do get the feeling the Cybermen might end up being a bit sidelined in part 2 because of, spoiler alert, the whole Master showing up at the end of this one again. By the looks of where they're taking this story. That's like, what, the third time now that the Cybermen have been sidelined in a story because of the Master. They've really got to stop doing this. They really... But yeah, that's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting to see where all this goes. Yes, the Master showed up again as well at the end of this. Kind of unexpected. I mean, there were 3 things I was expecting, or at least hoping, would show up this episode. The Ruth Doctor, Captain Jack, and the Master. We got the Master back. The other 2 could still possibly show up next episode, or if they don't, it's possible they could be playing this story arc into next series as well, which would be interesting. It looks like it's going to be a real risky story arc conclusion when put into the wider context of the Doctor Who universe, so fingers crossed. The side characters that we get in this one, they're pretty good. I thought we had Judy Graham playing the older woman, the older survivor, that of course she played Ruby, the main villain of the Series 4 finale of Sarah Jane Adventures, which is my favourite series finale of the Sarah Jane Adventures, actually. One of my favourite episodes, that, Goodbye Sarah Jane Smith. I should do reviews on the spin-off sometime, shouldn't I? That'd be good. So yeah, her character's pretty decent. There was the youngish bloke that I thought looked a bit like Turlo from the classic era. A lot of people on social media said he looked like Discount Rory. I guess he looks like a kind of cross between Turlo and Rory in a way. And all the other side characters, yeah, they're pretty good, work well enough. They do a really good job of portraying this whole band of surviving humans just trying to stay alive, and yeah, that works well. I'm expecting them all to show up in the next episode as well, hopefully. I don't particularly want them all just getting randomly killed off between episodes. We don't want them pulling a Resident Evil final chapter like scenario on us now, do we? But yeah, they're good. Main characters. They all had quite a lot to do in this, apart from Ryan. I'll get onto Ryan in a minute. The Doctor, I'll tell you, every episode this series, apart from Can You Hear Me, the 13th Doctor has been really, really good as the Doctor. There's really not a lot more to say about her character. You know, if a character is consistently this good for this long, you really stop running out of new things to say about them other than they gave a fantastic performance. So, Jodie is really good as the Doctor, when she's given the good material, the right material to work with. But I mean, Graham and Yaz have really got a lot to do. They were basically became the commanding force of this surviving band of humans, getting them to safety. That was really good. They had a nice lot of stuff to do. They basically became the ones in charge for a short while there. That was cool. All three main characters were good. Oh, sorry, there's supposed to be 4 main characters. Who's the other one? Oh yeah, Ryan was in this episode. Yeah, Series 11, it was Yaz that was kind of shoved in the background and made to be the completely pointless, useless character that never did anything of real consequence. This series, Ryan has basically just become a cardboard cutout in the background that spills out a couple of lines every few minutes. He really is useless this series, honestly. I mean, again, that is the problem with having 3 companions in the modern Who format. In classic Who, it kind of worked because, you know, episodes would be split up into 25 minutes and each story would be, you know, about 4 to 6 parts long on average. So having 3 companions and a Doctor, you have enough time in each story to give them things to do. But in the modern series, even though they've upped the runtime by about 5 minutes, it still doesn't give them a whole lot of time to give each character things to do. It's a good job this one was a 2-parter as well. That probably helps, actually. This is a 2-parter, it gives them more crap to do. But yeah, I mean, it can work, it's just a case of finding the right balance for all of them to be doing things each episode. Yeah, I get the feeling though that at least one of them is probably going to be leaving sometime soon, probably. I'd be kind of surprised if they stay with all 4 main cast members through the whole of Series 13 as well. I would be kind of surprised. I mean, I could see that it could happen, but I can also believe that there's a good chance that we could be losing at least one of them as well. Possibly all of them, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see 13 with some different companions altogether at some point. Yeah, but yeah, all the main characters, apart from Ryan, who's just kind of useless by this point, unfortunately, they've all done really good things this episode. Next episode, I have a feeling the focus could be mainly on the Doctor and the Master, so the companions might not get as much to do this time around next week as they did this week, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, that's the Cybermen talked about, and the characters. What else do we have? Brendan, the immortal Irish cop, for some reason. So this was really out of nowhere. Between the main scenes of this episode, we seem to be following the life of seemingly an abandoned, now adopted Irish policeman called Brendan, who is immortal for some reason. You know, surviving being shot and then falling off a goddamn cliff only to pop up and just, you know, get up fine and walk away from that. A lot of people have been saying about him possibly being, I mean, obviously being the Timeless Child, I don't know if that's the case, it could be, but him being some kind of Time Lord in general, possibly, although if he was a Time Lord, surely he would have regenerated instead of just popping back up as he was. I thought the way he revived after falling off the cliff, it was kind of like how Jack does it actually, where he's like dead and then he just goes you know, I thought it was kind of like that, so is he something to do with Jack, perhaps? I don't know. Is Jack the Timeless Child? No, that'd be silly. Chibnall, you've literally made this the most complicated story that could go anywhere. We have no idea what's going on. Please tell us. So yeah, and then right at the end of this, I suppose you could call it the subplot, where Brendan's adoptive dad and the policeman that was there when they found him, who also appeared to have not aged at all. That is mighty suspicious. They take him into a room, put a clock on a table. I don't know what the significance of that clock is. Maybe we'll find out. And then they put him in some kind of headset. Now, the machine that they put Brendan in could be, I think, one of 3 things. Either it's a chameleon arc, and Brendan is in fact a Time Lord of some kind, and the clock is where they're storing his Time Lord essence. Or it could be some kind of cyber conversion machine. That could be a thing. Some people have been thinking perhaps that Brendan's story takes place on Mondas as well. That could be the case, given how it's Earth's twin planet. We don't know. Or I think it could just be some kind of random machine that they've made up for this story that we'll have an explanation for next week. That doesn't really narrow it down, does it, in that third option? But yeah, that's going to be interesting to find out what that's all about. Well, I want to know what's on with Brendan's dad and the cop that found him not aging at all as well. Either Brendan's been aging really fast or no one else around him has been aging. That's kind of weird. I really don't know what's up with that at all one bit. I need answers and I need them now. The thought that I was hanging on to for the most part was that Brendan was going to turn out to be the lone Cyberman. That's who he was before he was converted. Possibly, I don't know. That's always an option as well, I suppose. Oh yeah, the guy that was guarding the gateway to, apparently Gallifrey. Yeah, the old guy. I haven't talked about him yet. Not much to say about him. I assume we'll be talking more about him next episode. We'll see more of him. Kind of interesting. I thought he was going to be like the Master or something in disguise, or I don't know. He could still be something important in disguise. We never know. But yeah, the old guy. Can't remember his name. His name was like Ko Shamsu or some crap like that. I have to look it up. I'm not very good with names. I mean, Raxacorica Falibatoris, I can memorise that perfectly, but anything else? No, can't. Sorry. So many flipping up questions that you've set up. It's like bloody Prometheus, isn't it? It's like a Prometheus Alien Covenant type situation. You're promising answers, but you're just creating more questions than you are answering them here. Jeez. Jibble, I'm expecting a damn good finale from you for this one, mate. Yeah, apparently Gallifrey is through this escape portal. These human survivors have been flooding through this escape gateway for some time now, and apparently it leads to Gallifrey. Destroyed Gallifrey, I might add. What the hell the Master was doing there, I have no idea. Things are pointing towards a particular fan theory that I'm not a big fan of as well. Fan. People were saying about the surviving humans fleeing to Gallifrey and becoming the first Time Lords / Gallifreyans. I kind of low-key hate this fan theory. I don't want the Time Lords to be anything to do with the humans in that way. Personally, I accept the explanation from Big Finish's Audio Zagreus that humans are in fact designed based off of Time Lords. They came first, we came afterwards. Very quickly, if you don't know, Rassilon decided that Gallifreyan bodies, that's the body design that I think most of the universe should evolve by. So I'm going to go and fuck with a crap ton of planets to basically force them to evolve humanoid life forms. That's the explanation as to why there's so many humanoid looking races in the Doctor Who franchise. And personally it's the explanation that I accept myself, which means Time Lords came first. Which, if it does turn out that these human survivors did in fact end up going to Gallifrey, and became the first Gallifreyans, that would make the entire Time Lord's existence one giant bootstrap paradox. Which, I mean, is possible in this universe, but personally I hope it's not the case. But yeah, anyway, we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. I think that's all I'm going to say this time round. Like I say, there'll be a lot more to say next episode, I'm sure. But yeah, that's my review / thoughts on video on episode 9, Ascension of the Cybermen. Really enjoyed this one. I would probably give it an 8.5, possibly a 9. That is a possibility, but yeah, you know. So yeah, my rating would be anywhere between an 8 and a 9 for this one, I'd say. So yeah, see you this time next week, hopefully, for the series finale, The Timeless Children. Plural, meaning there's multiple. Really have no fucking clue what's going on here. This should be interesting. Anyway, see you next week. Bye!